Well, I'll try again. I actually started at 3:33, and after I was talking a couple of minutes, I realized that Windows Live Movie Maker froze up. It just stopped. I have no clue why. It never happened before, but it happened today. And today is the day that the notice of appeal that I filed on Friday will be delivered by certified mail to the judge and two of the attorneys involved in attempting to steal my house at auction without due process of law and breaking the Florida and the U.S. Constitution and interfering with contracts. The mere fact that I filed an appeal on Friday delays the action. There should be a writ of prohibition issued by the higher court on the lower court, stopping the process until the appeal process can take place. This is the due process that is afforded to us still under law, although they do attempt sometimes to circumvent the requirements of their own law when they see that it might be used to attain real justice, which is not something certain individuals, it's not the entire system. I want you to get that straight, folks. There are honest people still within the system. There really are. They may not be in the majority, but they do exist. Anyway, today's video starts at an unusual time because I went back in and I had to reopen the program and get it to start responding, and it looks like it is recording now, thank God. I'm watching it. I'm watching it a little bit more closely than I was before. Today's video is actually entitled, Banking is Fraud Made Legal. And the little blurb that I wrote this morning goes like this. The entire economic system of the world is built on fraud. It's not just a little fraudulent. The entire foundation is counterfeiting made legal by governments, courts, and corporations, and I might add, for the benefit of a relative handful of people. Okay, I don't have that in my blurb, but I'm adding it here. Then I continue with my blurb. This is the matrix in which we find ourselves. The really big question is, what are we going to do about it? Truth is powerful. Are we willing to stand together in truth, even in the face of a corrupt system? As I began, and it's still recording, thank God. As I began, the papers today, or the papers that I filed on Friday, will be served today to 3 individuals, and it should delay the process and give me time to prepare my papers through due process. It should give me, I have 70 days, as far as I understand it, I have 70 days from last Friday to prepare and submit to the court, or possibly it's when I get notice that they're hearing the case and assign it a case number. But the action has begun, and it should stop the action to auction my home. So this is good news for me. I can breathe a little bit easier. It gives me a little bit more time to plan, and I do have to plan. Yes, I'm going to go ahead and do that. I have never asked in any of my videos for financial help, but filing the notice of appeal, making all the photocopies, the certified mail, the actual filing fee, I had to pay the local court as well as the Court of Appeal. It totals approximately 1/2 of my monthly income just to file the paperwork. So any contributions that anyone would like to make to offset some of these costs would be greatly appreciated. The way you can do that is to go onto my webpage and there is a PayPal button on there. Contributions can be made from anywhere in the world through PayPal. And if you would prefer to send me something, I'm pretty sure my address is on the website. It's the Mary Horgan Center in any case, and I know that address is on there. So I'm asking if you're so led. I'm not putting a price tag on what I'm doing, but I would appreciate a little bit of assistance if you're willing to give it. But anyway, I was at a gathering last evening, and one of the people there asked me to explain in simple terms what the financial system is all about and how it's a fraud. Counterfeiting is creating money that has nothing backing it. In other words, money out of thin air, you might say, using a printing press. Well, modern banking doesn't even bother with the printing presses most of the time. In fact, the amount of money, quote, in circulation is only a relative small fraction of the total amount of money registered and recorded on computers around the world. Most money is in the form of promissory notes, whether they're credit card applications, car loans, mortgages on properties, any type of business loan, any type of commercial loan. The negotiable instrument is the promissory note. That negotiable instrument to the, quote, lending institution is an asset. Money is actually the note. That is a monetized instrument, a negotiable instrument, worth something very valuable. What was pledged? The borrower pledged his or her labor and creativity against the note, saying, I'm going to be able to attract to myself enough money to pay back this note. It's a promissory note. It's fraud at its very foundation because the lending institution didn't tell you that it didn't have the money, maybe just a little part of it, but it didn't have the entire amount for sure. And they did not tell you that they were going to deposit in their account as an asset. And they did not sign it, which makes it an invalid contract on its face according to common law. And they've already planned the bundling of that paperwork with other paperwork to sell as a derivative to governments in the form of bonds and other debt instruments. And they sell this and they get their money back. So the lending institution risks zero. And if they get caught, the way the system works is the government then bails it out because the institutions of banks, the big institutions, are too big to fail. They're allowed to get away with their fraud and their deception, and the whole world goes along with it. Except now, the whole world is waking up. Well, not everybody, but you are. You're listening. Well, maybe you're listening. I know I lose some people when I talk about things in the physical world that we have to deal with. I know I lose people. I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry that some of you still choose to put your head in the sand. But we're here to change the system. We're here in this ninth wave to co-create a new world that is based on truth. Truth in lending, truth in borrowing, truth in living, truth in giving. Truth. No more deception. No more house of card con games, Ponzi schemes, or whatever you want to call the current system. No more governments and courts and corporations that deprive people of their natural rights by deception, by fraud. We're trying to build that world. I say trying. We're going to build that world. We're building it right now. Just by waking up changes the energy of the entire planet. That which has been hidden in the underworld, personal and collective, is now coming to the surface so that we can deal with it. That's what I've been building for the last several days. We can stop the wars. We can stop the battle inside of ourselves simply by owning, simply by taking responsibility and taking action to stand in truth and say to the system, no more. And people within the system are waking up. You want to know how you can help me besides possibly helping me defray some of the costs of the filing? You can help by visualization and meditation. There's going to be 3 judges that will look at this appeal. I don't know who they're going to be. There are honest judges and there are dishonest judges. There have been Court of Appeal cases where they've decided against the banks. I'll bet you there's a whole lot more where they decided in favor of the banks. But people are waking up. Mainstream news has been reporting the massive fraud in the banking industry. It has been reported, even in the mainstream. I want you to understand that. It's not some conspiracy theory. It's not some alternative media revelation. It's mainstream, folks. The fraud is out in the open. No, not everybody's looking at it. Not everybody understands the depth and the breadth and the entirety of the picture of the fraud, but that there is fraud is known to those that are paying any attention whatsoever. So I'm asking you to focus loving attention and light on these judges, whoever they're going to be, that are going to look at this appeal, and focus some on me too, because I have to prepare a solid presentation of facts in my paperwork, and I have 70 days to do that, whether it's from last Friday or from whenever the docket number is assigned by the Court of Appeal. I have 70 days, a little over a month and a week, say, or I'm sorry, 2 months and a week, to prepare that paperwork. And then the attorneys have, I can't remember the time, whether it's 20 days or 50 days to respond. And then I have another, I think it's 50 days, but I could be incorrect on that. I get to respond to their response. So there's 3 steps in the process before the case will be decided. So I've, in effect, I have bought some time to allow for the due process of law, which by law should automatically be granted. So let's focus positive attention on that. Now there's one other thing. Let me see if I can find the paperwork here in my scattered mess here. There's a book called Florida Rules of Court, and the person who advised me in filing the appeal said that I really need, when I'm preparing my paperwork, I really need that Florida Rules of Court book. It's $110, and it's available from West Publishing Company. You can Google West Publishing Company, and it's the Florida Rules of Court, the 2011 edition. It's an annual edition, and they charge a lot of money for it. But I'd like to have that. I don't want to put the money out. I don't want to spend $110. But contact me if you're willing to help me with that as well. And I've never asked for help before, but this is something that we're doing for a whole lot more than just me. And I want you to understand that. This is not just about me, folks. This is about standing up to a system of injustice, standing up to the fraud of the very world that we live in, that is so prevalent in the world that we live in. We can do it if we're willing to work together. So I'm asking you to stand with me. I'm not going to be focusing on this a lot from time to time. As there is news, I might mention it, but I don't want this to be the focus of what this is about. I want it to be spiritually building you up and letting you know what you can do to change your perspective so that we can literally change the world that we live in and co-create together in this ninth wave the world that we long for in the deepest part of our heart and soul. So these are the things that I'm sharing with you today. I thank you, those of you that are willing to help. Those of you that don't like what I'm doing, I send you grace as well. And I even send you love, that you might awaken and you might join us in building a world that works for everyone, that creates win-win situations for everyone, where no one has to be the loser and everyone is the winner. That's my dream. May it become your dream. It's written in your heart, even if you don't see it yet. God bless you. Namaste.